Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to open this 128th Annual General Meeting of Audi AG. Pursuant to Section 21 of the Articles of Association of Audi AG, I, as Chairman of the Supervisory Board, shall preside over this meeting. I would like to welcome you most warmly, the shareholders, the shareholder representatives, the media representatives, our guests, and all those participating on the web. Let me also welcome political representatives. To name just a few of our guests of honor, let me welcome Harry Mergel, the Mayor of Heilbronn, Timo Frey, the Mayor of Bad Friedrichshall, and Sepp Misselbeck, the Mayor of Ingolstadt. Thank you very much for having taken up our invitation to come here to the annual general meeting to Neckarsulm. Ladies and gentlemen, as usual, we're going to offer guided tours of the plant. These tours will begin half an hour after the end of the meeting. You can visit the final assembly of the Audi A4 and of the Audi A5 convertible. If you're interested in a guided tour, please turn to our agents at the information counter. The meeting point for the meetings is the space outside the Nuvolari restaurant on the ground floor. Let me first of all turn to a few matters of form. The official record of this annual general meeting will be kept by Notary Public Dr. Peter Siegel from Stuttgart, sitting right next to me. All members of the Supervisory Board and the Board of Management are present here today. This annual general meeting was convened in due time and in due form. The invitation for this general meeting, along with the agenda and the resolutions proposed by management, were duly published in the Federal Gazette on the 11th of April 2017. The invitation was also made available to those media of which it can be assumed that they will spread the information throughout the European Union. This information was also published on the websites of Audi AG. The notary has received copies of this publication. The attendance area of this AGM comprises the seating area and all rooms accessible to you from here, including the check-in and check-out. All shareholders within the attendance area are participating in the AGM. This meeting will be transmitted throughout the attendance area on the PA system. It can be heard throughout the attendance area. Ladies and gentlemen, in exchange for your admission tickets, you received voting card forms. Please make sure that you received voting card forms in exchange for all of your admission tickets. If this should not be the case, you can ask for your voting card forms at the entrance. Please always keep them on you. And the attendance record is not yet completed, but it can be read on a terminal screen on the ground floor near the information counter. Ladies and gentlemen, the attendance record is the foundation of the voting results, so it always has to be kept up to date. If you should leave the meeting early or temporarily, please turn to our agents at the checkout. You can appoint a proxy for the time you're absent. Audi AG have made Mr. Rainer Maas and Reinhard Schöttl available as proxies for you, the two young gentlemen that you can see here in front. The voting card forms include forms for appointing a proxy, and please bear with us that we need to be very careful about recording attendance. All participants in this AGM are requested to take all their belongings with them when leaving the meeting. This is for your own safety and security. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to take the floor, please turn to the speaker's point right next to the stage. Please state your name and also the name of your shareholder association, if applicable, and the items on the agenda you want to speak on, and your attendance number. You will find your attendance number at the top of your voting card. Ladies and gentlemen, let me now ask to rise in honor of all the deceased of the Audi Group since the last general meeting. Thank you for having risen in honor of the deceased. Ladies and gentlemen, I shall now first of all give you the report of the Supervisory Board. I shall also comment on compliance to the German Corporate Governance Code. Then the Board of Management will give its report, then we will have a debate. And to start off the debate, I shall recount all the agenda items that are up for debate and shall remind us of some procedural matters. After the debate, we will take the vote on all agenda items. Ladies and gentlemen, let me start my report on the Supervisory Board by expressing my thanks to the members of the Board of Management, to all employees of Audi AG, for all the hard work that they have put in this past fiscal year. I'd expressly like to include all employees of all entities of the Audi Group. They put in a lot of effort, a lot of passion and devotion, doing their best for customers and for the company. I would like to thank them very much here today. Ladies and gentlemen, there have been some changes on the Supervisory Board of Audi AG since the last general meeting. As of the 30th of June 2016, Sibylle Wankel resigned from her office as a member of the Supervisory Board of Audi AG. As of the 30th of November 2016, Norbert Rank retired from the Supervisory Board of his own accord. He was a member for 17 years. As of the 31st of January 2017, Dr. Christine Hohmann-Denhard resigned as a member of the Supervisory Board of Audi AG. The Supervisory Board would like to express its thanks and its recognition to all the former members for the work they did for Audi. Upon request by the Board of Management of Audi AG, the local court of Ingolstadt appointed Irene Schulz as of the 11th of July 2016, Rita Beck as of the 13th of December 2016, and Hiltrud Dorothea Werner as of the 16th of February 2017 as members to complement the Supervisory Board. On the Board of Management, there have been the following changes since the last meeting. As of the 23rd of September 2016, Dr. Stefan Knirsch resigned in agreement with the Supervisory Board from the Board of Management of Audi AG. His successor, responsible for technical development, is Dr. Peter Mertens, appointed on the 1st of May 2017. Dr. Mertens, let me welcome you to this group. We all wish you every success in dealing with your comprehensive tasks. Ladies and gentlemen, in the past fiscal year, as in the years before, the Board of Management informed the Supervisory Board in a regular, timely and comprehensive manner. Decisions of fundamental importance were deliberated upon by the Board of Management and the Supervisory Board. The Supervisory Board focused on the general economic environment, the business situation, the business policy, risk management and risk situation, and consulted with the Board of Management in great depth. This was done at the ordinary Supervisory Board meetings every quarter and also by means of regular written and oral reports by the Board of Management. At its meetings, the Supervisory Board also dealt with the risks and opportunities of Audi in some key markets. Let me just name the US, China, Russia, and further European markets as examples. Other topics were, for example, the further development of subsidiaries, women's share within the company, especially on management, and the technological fields of digitization and alternative powertrains. In addition, the Supervisory Board was informed on the realignment of business processes in technical development and any supporting measures in great detail. I discussed important current issues with Mr. Stadler quite regularly and not only at Supervisory Board meetings. This included, among other things, questions of strategy, planning, business development, and the risk situation and risk management, including questions on integrity and on the compliance of the Audi Group. The Supervisory Board confirmed the Board of Management's strategic decisions by adopting the Human Resources, Financial and Capital Expenditure Planning. At its fourth ordinary meeting in 2016, the Supervisory Board decided, along with the Board of Management, on the statement of compliance pursuant to Section 161 of the German Joint Stock Companies Act. The work of the Supervisory Board was very much influenced by the diesel crisis once again in 2016, especially on the V6 3.0 TDI engines. There were two extraordinary meetings in 2016 and one in 2017. The Presidium of the Supervisory Board had 4 more meetings apart from the 4 ordinary meetings. These extraordinary meetings served to prepare and take decisions on the DOJ criminal settlement agreement, the so-called second and third partial consent decree, and the CBP settlement. All these agreements had been concluded subject to the Supervisory Board's approval. Before decisions were taken, the Supervisory Board asked for the advice both of internal and especially of external experts, both on technical and legal matters. Let me make this quite clear once again, speaking from here. The Supervisory Board and the Board of Management will not tolerate any violation of the law. Obeying the law, compliance, and blameless value-based actions are the foundation of sustainable economic success and for a good future for Audi and for all its workforce. There must not be and there will not be any compromises on this. Ladies and gentlemen, the Supervisory Board was informed by the Board of Management continuously on the diesel issue and was continuously updated. This especially applies to the V6 3-liter TDI diesel engines developed by Audi, and it relates to what happened in the US and also in other countries of the world, for example, in South Korea, Japan, and Australia. All members of the Supervisory Board were present at more than half of the meetings. The average attendance in the past fiscal year was 95%. Before ordinary meetings, there were comprehensive consultations of the members of the Presidium. The Mediation Committee did not have to be convened in 2016. The Audit Committee had meetings once a quarter in 2016. The committee focused on the annual financial statement and consolidated financial statement for 2015 and on other topics like risk management, compliance, and internal auditing. The Audit Committee also dealt with the half-year's financial report for 2016 before it was published. The committee discussed its content with the Board of Management and with representatives of the Auditing Committee. It also discussed the independence of the auditors and the results of any additional audits commissioned and the situation as of year-end 2016. Since the wrongdoings connected to diesel engines became known, the Audit Committee continuously focused on the topics of risk management, compliance, and internal audit. In this context, the Audit Committee took note of the further optimizations of the risk management process adopted by the Board of Management for the Audi Group with approval. The implementation was discussed. The implementation of the German Corporate Governance Code was discussed on the 24th of November. Both the Supervisory Board and the Board of Management published a joint statement according to Section 161 of the German Joint Stock Company Act. You will find the details and the rationale in the current statement of compliance. You'll find this on the web page of Audi AG, and further details can be found in the corporate governance report of Audi AG, starting on page 152 of the 2016 annual report. Accounts and consolidated accounts and the condensed management report were audited by PricewaterhouseCoopers. You will find the auditor's certificate on page 245 of the annual report. The members of the Audit Committee and of the Supervisory Board received the accounts and consolidated financial statements and the audit reports of the auditors in good time for their meetings on the 23rd of February 2017. At the meetings of the Audit Committee and the Supervisory Board, representatives of the auditing company explained the most important results of the audit in great detail. Afterwards, they answered any questions of the members of these two bodies. The Audit Committee recommended to the Supervisory Board in its meeting of the 23rd of February 2017 to approve the accounts and consolidated financial statements. This was done after reviewing and discussing the audit documents and based on the Audit Committee's own findings. The Supervisory Board followed this recommendation and approved of the annual financial statement. Thus, the annual financial statement is established. Ladies and gentlemen, let me now briefly mention a change in the remuneration system for the members of the Board of Management. The foundations of the remuneration system for the Board of Management were adopted by the 121st Annual General Meeting on the 20th of May 2010, with 99.7% of votes cast. Pursuant to the Supervisory Board resolution of the 24th of November 2016, caps are in place for the variable components of Board of Management remuneration. The Supervisory Board also agreed that further details and detailed numbers will be published in the remuneration report of Audi AG. You will find this in the annual report starting on page 153. Ladies and gentlemen, both the Board of Management and the Supervisory Board have both recommended to propose to grant discharge, that is, ratify the actions of all directors and officers. One exception is Dr. Stefan Knirsch. As there's still investigations underway, we propose to postpone the vote on this. The recommendation of the Board of Management and the Supervisory Board is also based on an opinion of the renowned Gleiss Lutz law firm. The result of their review has been that there were no breaches of duty during this period. This was also confirmed by Professor Dr. Goethe, the former presiding judge of the Second Civil Panel of the Federal Court of Law. Any recent developments, like the searches of Audi offices by prosecutors 2 months ago, were taken into account. Both Gleiss Lutz and Professor Dr. Goethe confirmed yesterday that the result of their reviews remains the same according to the latest state of the investigation. This investigation was carried out by the Jones Day law firm on behalf of the Supervisory Board of Volkswagen AG, supported by the Deloitte auditing firm since September 2015. The Audi Supervisory Board had decided at that time that Audi will also be subjected to the investigation. In its proposal, to approve the actions of the Board of Management members in office. The Supervisory Board expresses its trust in the members of the Board of Management in office. Let me point out quite clearly that the approval of the acts does not mean waiving claims for damages of members of the Board of Management or the Supervisory Board. The Supervisory Board, of course, will review, independent from the decision on the approval of the actions, whether any damages claims exist against former members of the Board of Management or members of the Board of Management in office now, whether these exist or should be asserted. The Supervisory Board reviews this irrespective of persons, counseled by the Gleiss-Lutz law firm. In the Supervisory Board decisions, it is only the interest and the well-being of the Audi AG that is taken into account. In order to make a decision, we need to know the facts as precisely as possible, and this is why we're continuing with the investigation. Ladies and gentlemen, Audi has learned a lot from the diesel crisis and has started important changes already. The way I see it today, this has been the most comprehensive change in the history of the company, which has now been started, and this process is continuing. At the same time, we need to focus on operating topics and on shaping the future. We have to do this. The car industry is facing fundamental change. Within the next 10 years, our business will change more than within the last 100 years. Audi can and must shape this transformation. Being a strong part of the Volkswagen Group, I hope and I ask you for your confidence in the further development of your and our company. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of my report on the Supervisory Board. I would like to thank you for listening and would now like to ask Mr. Stadler and Mr. Strothbeck to give their reports on business in 2016 and on the current situation of the company. Mr. Stadler, you have the floor.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to all of you from the Board of Management colleagues and myself. I would like to start my speech with news that we received 2 weeks ago. The Center of Automotive Management Research Institute in Bergisch Gladbach named Audi the most innovative brand amongst all automobile manufacturers worldwide. I believe that this is outstanding recognition of our company and of our employees' enthusiasm for technology. Audi is the most innovative brand with the best vehicle concepts, the best design, and the best automotive connectivity inside the vehicle. And therefore, I would like to say, right at the beginning, on behalf of the Board of Management and the Supervisory Board, a heartfelt thank you to everyone at Audi. Every day, we do our utmost to achieve progress for our customers. And I would actually say that for 1.5 years now, our employees have been working even harder to prove how seriously we take our aspirations. Because, yes, we have had a hard time since the beginning of the diesel crisis. Tarnished customer confidence, many inquiries from authorities all over the world, enormous expensive or technical solutions and recalls, and in parallel, external challenges that increase the headwind in our everyday work, such as turbulent markets, currencies, and the global political conditions. And last but not least, we are right in the middle of the biggest transformation in our company's history. And I should say that this, doesn't require, and if that doesn't require enough effort, it is therefore even more important that we achieved robust earnings in 2016. And without doubt, ladies and gentlemen, 2016 was one of the most challenging years in Audi's history. Nevertheless, 2016 was not a lost year for us. We made great progress with clearing up the diesel crisis. We set the right strategic course for 2025 with new products, new technologies for digitalization, sustainability and urbanization. And we demonstrated continuity in our business operations with an operating profit before special items of 4.8 billion euros. And I can say that after special items, we achieved an operating profit of 3 billion euros. The diesel issue, surely, was by far the biggest special item. It has had a serious impact on us, and therefore I would like to begin reporting to you on the current status. A task force for the diesel issue, headed by Dr. Bernd Martens, is working worldwide literally day and night, together with colleagues from Volkswagen. This task force is driving solutions for our customers, and it is working on settlements with the authorities. We have already made very good progress on solutions for our diesel customers. About 2.3 million cars of the Audi brand with a 4-cylinder TDI are affected. More than 1.2 million of them have already been in our workshops and have had a software update. In the United States, about 14,000 Audi A3 models are affected. Customers there can choose between several options: a buyback, or early return of a leased car, or a field fix. The authorities have already approved such a field fix for model year 2015 cars with this engine. You know, we want to convince as many US customers as possible to have their car software updated and to keep their cars. Now about the 6-cylinder TDI engine. With regard to EU type approval, there have been no objections to our 3-litre V6 TDI engine. Nonetheless, like some other manufacturers, we are carrying out a voluntary service action for selected models in Europe. In the United States, we agreed with the authorities early this year on the procedure for 83,000 cars with a 3-litre TDI engine. Nearly a quarter of them, that is about 20,000 cars, are equipped with the first generation of that engine, those of model years 2009 to 2012. We are offering to buy back those cars from their owners or to accept early returns if the cars are leased. Alternatively, we want to offer a technical modification as soon as it is approved by the authorities. Then the customers will be able to choose between buyback, return or field fix. More than 75% of the effective automobiles with 6-cylinder diesel engines in the United States are from the second generation. Those cars are to be given a software update, and in some cases, new hardware will be installed. The US authorities still have to review and approve this technical solution, and after the field fix, the cars will comply with the emission regulations in force at the time of type approval. The settlement under civil law with all parties in the United States, and the so-called second partial consent decree, is to be assessed as an important next step. The settlement meets the demands of the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, the State of California and the California Air Resources Board, CARB, the Department of Justice, DOJ, and the private plaintiffs in the court-appointed steering committee. As a consequence of this diesel crisis, we are carrying out far-reaching reviews at Audi. Above all, this involves improving processes, reallocating responsibilities, and adjusting our organization. We are establishing a new and expanded compliance structure with new reporting and control systems. We have strengthened the position of Chief Compliance Officer. In addition to his regular compliance tasks, he is also responsible for risk management and a central project management office, especially for attending to the requirements of the US Department of Justice. The Chief Compliance Officer reports directly to our CFO, Mr. Axel Strothbeck. In its meeting yesterday, the Supervisory Board decided to allocate Board of Management responsibility for integrity to Mr. Strothbeck. His overall area of responsibility is now finance, IT and integrity. In addition, Mr. Larry Dean Thompson will support the Volkswagen Group and thus also the Audi Group with his task as an external monitor for a period of 3 years. And this will take place in accordance with the conditions of the settlement agreement between Volkswagen Group and the US government. We consider the monitor as an opportunity that we will utilize to strengthen our processes. We have also made an important organizational change in the technical development division. We have now strictly separated the functions of product development, homologation and type approval. We have now set up a new department for technical conformity with special responsibility for type approval procedures in the markets. Together with Peter Martins, we will organize the processes, and surely he's the new Board of Management member for Technical Development, and he's been with us since the 1st of May, and at this point I would like to welcome you most cordially as a member of the Audi Board of Management. Ladies and gentlemen, the process of clearing up is not yet completed. We will continue until this job is done. And with the tenacity that our company is well known for, we at Audi are acting with absolute determination to make sure that nothing like the diesel crisis ever happens again. We therefore undertake to regain the trust of the authorities and our customers and place it on a firm foundation to make the law and ethics into the ultimate benchmark for our actions and to show that we stand for transparency, honesty and dependability. In a few minutes, my colleague Axel Strothbeck will tell you about the year 2016 from a financial perspective. He will also inform you about our business development in the first quarter of 2017, and he will talk about the company's key metrics based on our sales success last year. In 2016, the Audi brand delivered nearly 1.9 million cars to customers. This is an increase of 3.6%. And since 2010, we've had the 7th year of growth running. We do nearly half of our business in Europe, and we sell every 10th car in the United States. And every 3rd Audi is sold to China. In China, we have had a significant decrease in sales since December. This is an ongoing process and has had an impact on the start of this year. In our current phase of comprehensive strategic realignment, the Audi dealers in China have been rather cautious with their business. The background is that we are taking the new approach of a two-partner strategy in China. We've negotiated and signed a memorandum of understanding on the key points with Shanghai Automotive Industry Corporation, SAIC, the existing partner for the Volkswagen Group in SAIC, SVW, Shanghai Volkswagen. Now, what is the motivation for a two-partner strategy? We want our market leadership of recent years in a growing premium market to continue for the long term. And we want to secure it. And for that reason, we want to place our business on two pillars in our most important single market. Again, in the long run, our sister brand Volkswagen has operated with two partners in production and sales for many years. Another reason for our repositioning is that we want to accelerate the implementation of many innovative business models in the future, new sales formats, mobility services and digital services. At the same time, we have agreed on a 10-year plan with our long-standing joint venture partner, and this means we are firming our commitment to long-term cooperation, more activities to enhance our image and prestige, more cooperation in the field of electric mobility, and more local production in China, and thus more growth. As a consequence, we will expand our model range systematically, quickly and consistently. For example, following the example of the Audi A6 e-tron, and this is what we're going to do over the next 5 years, including the plug-in hybrids and the electric cars. We are convinced that the Chinese market is big enough and is continuing to grow, and this will guarantee stable growth to all our partners. And now I would like to talk about the models which will be introduced, which have been introduced in 2016. We launched more than 20 new or updated Audi models worldwide in our sports spearhead. The Audi R8 is now available as a convertible version. The Spider is available, and the TT will be available in its third generation as an RS model again, and the TT RS Coupe and the Audi TT RS Roadster, with their 5-cylinder engines, stand firmly in the tradition of our legendary rally models. We completely renewed our successful Audi A4, A5 core model series last year. The Audi A4 is now available as a sedan, Avant, and all-road quattro. The Audi S4 sports version is available as the sedan. And, in Europe, the A4 is really making progress as the market leader. And the second generation of the Audi A5 and S5 as a coupe, as a sportback, as well as a sedan. And the Audi A5 Coupe has won the Golden Steering Wheel as the best sports car. And the Audi Q2 won our second Golden Steering Wheel. It was introduced last autumn, and our order books are filled, and I can say that this car really addresses the zeitgeist of young people in particular. Meanwhile, every third Audi customer buys a Q model. A 16% increase in demand for our sports utility vehicles. The second generation Audi Q7 convinced more than 100,000 customers in its first full year. This is twice as many as its predecessor achieved on average. Demand is particularly strong for the most powerful model version, the Audi SQ7 TDI. The Q7 won the Best Luxury SUV accolade from Consumer Reports in the United States this March. Furthermore, Audi was placed as the best brand in this consumer ranking. Back to the Audi Q7. We relaunched it in 2016, and outside Europe we also offered a new model for the world, and this is being produced in San Jose, Chiapas, Mexico. We are presenting our new models in the Audi Forum Neckarsulm today, outside the building and here on the ground floor. Our sporty RS models can be seen on the next floor above. Anyone who has seen these products understands the passion of our Audi employees. 88,000 people stand for our brand and for our success. 88,000 people are suffering from the disrepute that the diesel issue has brought to us. With these 88,000 people, we are tackling our future, and we will steer through this crisis. Despite all of last year's difficulties, we will pay the employees of Audi AG an average profit participation of €3,510 at the end of May. Internally, we've massively expanded our program for further training on electric drive systems, on high-voltage safety, for example, or on digital learning formats and technologies such as virtual and augmented reality. Electrification, digitalization are core competencies with which we are systematically strengthening our strategic resources. By doing so, we are preparing our workforce for the future. Ladies and gentlemen, let me now take stock. Summarizing what we've achieved at Audi in the past 10 years. Our brand success story becomes very clear. We've increased our deliveries to customers by 1/3 in Europe. We've more than doubled them in the United States, and we've increased them 7-fold in China. But we have grown not only in terms of sales volume, our key financials also reflect the successful development of the past decade. We have nearly doubled our revenue. We have more than doubled our earnings. And over the last few years, we've lifted them to a level of €5 billion. With this dynamism, we at Audi, we will tackle the issues of tomorrow and the further future beyond. I will tell you more about that in the second part of my speech. Mr. Trotbeck, you have the floor now.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to welcome you here in Neckarsulm today at the 128th Annual General Meeting of Audi AG. An annual meeting to look back on the year 2016, without a doubt one of the most difficult but also one of the most strategically important years in our company's history. Because it is now about managing current issues while positioning ourselves for the future and with the right focus. That's the key to our ongoing profitability and success. And that is therefore also our common business responsibility of the Audi Board of Management. Audi's transformation already started last year, and it is tangible, as is made clear by the title of our annual report, Turning Moment. With new technologies and changes in people's values, a great transformation is ahead of us that applies to the entire automotive industry, but it will also have a major impact on society as a whole and on us personally. And digitization is just the breeding ground for constantly accelerating change. The pressure to change is enormous. We accept this challenge responsibly and with a clear focus on our targets. We have already proven that we are capable of that. We have developed from a volume brand into a global premium brand and are now one of the top players in the industry. Today, our products set benchmarks with quality and design, for example, and especially with innovative technologies. So change is part of our DNA. The challenge is that we are strategically repositioning ourselves while securing the profitability of our current business model. With our new strategy 2025, we've therefore launched a package of measures under the heading of Speed Up. This program helps us rethink our processes to utilize opportunities and to optimize cost structures, with the sole goal of securing our future viability and profitability in the interest of all our company's stakeholders. I will return to this topic later in my speech. In this way, we will manage the transformation out of our own resources, and in this way, we succeeded in achieving a robust operating profit and a strong cash flow in 2016. And despite all the challenges, we had a robust development also in the markets. We increased deliveries of the Audi brand by 3.6% in 2016. We achieved balanced growth and increased our unit sales in all three core regions. In the United States, for example, our growth of 4% was significantly stronger than the generally weak market. In fact, we were the only OEM to achieve growth among the top 6 in the US premium market. In addition to the new A4, the new Q7 also developed very positively. Our top-end SUV was launched in the US in spring 2016. Since then, we increased our sales of this model by about 60% to more than 30,000 units. Across all our Q models, we increased our unit sales in the US by about 19% to more than 100,000 vehicles. And we were particularly pleased to receive the award from the US magazine Consumer Reports, Best Car Brand 2016, and as Mr. Stadler has already mentioned, for 2017 as well. In the Europe region, we posted strong growth, once again despite numerous political and economic uncertainties. The A4 is actually the European market leader in its segment. This represents a volume growth of 25% compared with the previous year. We delivered a total of 857,000 cars to customers in Europe, representing growth of more than 7%. Our performance in 4 of that region's markets was especially pleasing. Germany with nearly 300,000 opportunities, or plus 8.6%. The United Kingdom, despite the Brexit vote, was at the record level of approximately 177,000 cars. And we had double-digit growth in both Spain and Italy. Let's now turn to China, our biggest single market. China continues to be one of the world's fastest growing economies, which is reflected by the Chinese car market. We increased our car sales in China from an already high level by another 3.6%, delivering 590,000 automobiles. Demand is high also in the premium compact segment. Compared with the previous year, sales of the Audi A3 were up by 30%, and with an increase of about 28%, significantly more Chinese customers decided in favor of the Audi Q3. Since last fall, the new Audi A4 with a longer wheelbase is also available at dealerships. In addition, we have the market launch of the locally produced plug-in hybrid Audi A6 e-tron. So we are setting an important milestone in the electrification of our Chinese model range. And already this year, the Audi Q7 e-tron will follow as an import model. Ladies and gentlemen, conditions remain challenging, but our core business is robust. On the revenue side, thanks to our strong unit sales, we reached the new record of 59 billion euros. Our other business has also developed. This includes the delivery of parts for local production in China. Currency effects were disadvantageous, however, due in particular to the depreciation of the British pound. Also, the launch of new models at first led to lower revenue. In the year 2016, for example, we launched the new generation of the Audi A5 Coupe, and at our new plant in San Jose Chiapa, Mexico, we started production of the next generation Audi Q5. So let's have a look at the most important cost positions. The Audi Group's cost of goods sold increased by 5% to 49 billion euros due to the growth in sales and also because of the diesel crisis. However, improved product costs and productivity had a positive impact as in the previous years. Selling expenses of 5.8 billion euros were at the prior year level. Against the backdrop of growth in unit sales and despite special items due to the diesel issue, that's quite an achievement. We have good brand and price positioning that strengthens our car's residual values and protects our profitability. Now let's have a close look at other operating income, minus 405 million euros compared with minus 119 million euros in 2015. There's an impact on our figures here from risk provisions relating to the diesel crisis. There was a positive effect, however, resulting from gains on the settlement of currency hedges. The bottom line is that the Audi Group achieved an operating profit of 3 billion euros in 2016, which is significantly lower than the previous year. Ladies and gentlemen, despite a good operating performance, our earnings were reduced in 2016 by special items totaling 1.8 billion euros. They include an expense of 162 million euros connected with airbags from the Japanese supplier Takata. And we had expenses of 1.6 billion euros in the context of the diesel crisis. This amount relates to technical measures, sales measures, and legal risks in connection with the settlement agreements in the United States. Yes, that is certainly a high financial burden, but it is also great progress in the context of clearing up this issue. We're now focusing more intensely on our core business again. Excluding special items, purely from business operations, that is, we achieved an operating profit of 4.8 billion euros. On that basis, our operating return on sales of 8.2% remains within our strategic target corridor of 8 to 10%. The main drivers of this earnings development include, above all, the strong demand for our automobiles of the Audi brand. Furthermore, with our speed-up program, we initiated important optimizations of processes and costs, resulting in additional positive effects. There were negative effects last year from the growth-related increase in fixed costs and higher advance expenditure for future topics. We systematically further expanded our model and technology portfolio. The ramp-up of our new ultra-modern plant in Mexico also initially reduced our earnings. And currency effects had a negative impact. To sum up, I can say that we achieved solid earnings in 2016 despite extremely difficult conditions and during a phase of important strategic investment. As you can see, our business operations are robust and resilient, and that is the important point to me. This is also demonstrated by the continuation of our very good cash flow. As before, this is one of Audi's strengths, even in times of strong headwinds. Like in the previous years, we financed all operating and strategic investments completely out of our own resources. With a net cash inflow of 2.1 billion euros, we once again had a substantial positive cash flow. This means we have net liquidity of 17 billion euros at year-end 2016. One thing is clear. We need not only the resources, but also the right plan to be successful in the future. And we have it. We're therefore increasing our focus on return and cost discipline. We are performing a balancing act between cost discipline and important investments in the future. I previously mentioned our strategic program of measures, Speed Up. We will gradually implement it, and I'm personally involved in that implementation. The initial positive effects of the Speed Up were already apparent in the past financial year. This is a clear sign of the motivation and atmosphere of change in the entire organization. And I can tell you that the funds that we will free up will be in the medium and long term. We are streamlining our portfolio, prioritizing products and engines. We use common parts, we reduce complexity on the products, but also throughout the whole company. And last but not least, we are redefining core processes and are digitizing them. Let me give you a few examples from different business units. Production, for example, is being made fit for the future. The fully interconnected and intelligent factory is our objective, the smart factory. In technical development, we're relying more and more on virtual methods, for example, when introducing digital prototypes. This does not only speed up processes, it also makes development more flexible and faster, and it saves costs. Thanks to the group-wide introduction of video chats that can be used directly at the workplace, we also meet the needs of globalization, avoiding unnecessary travel and cost. So, despite worldwide major projects, we reduced our travel costs by 15% in 2016. Ladies and gentlemen, profitability is something that is not only especially important to me, but to all my colleagues on the Board of Management. It's our goal to grow profitably. This is a clear commitment to our premium claim, premium products with premium margins. We have many new technologies in the pipeline offering real added value. First of all for our customers, but also for ourselves and for you as our shareholders, so that the product positioning and the price positioning of the Audi brand, and thus the company's success, can be improved further. We're also going to optimize our conventional business further and expand it by new business models. One thing is clear, our cars will remain the core of our business model. The customer and the quality of our customer relationship are in the focus. In this way, we are creating new businesses surrounding the automobile world of our customers, for example, based on function on demand. Mr. Stadler will discuss this in more detail. Ladies and gentlemen, 2016 was a difficult year for Audi, and we have started a lot of new things despite all the challenges, and you can rely on this. We also have ambitious goals for 2017, and we will continue working on them consistently. For example, we set up the autonomous intelligent driving GmbH at the beginning of the year, a wholly owned subsidiary of the Audi AG, advancing autonomous driving and related business models. Today, we would like to take a vote with you on concluding a control and profit and loss sharing agreement. It's item 5 on the agenda. Let's now take an outlook on 2017. As we saw at the year end, it was a difficult first quarter, characterized by the special situation in China, as Mr. Stadler discussed in detail. As far as revenues are concerned, despite the decrease in volume, we have nearly reached the previous year's level at more than 14 billion euros. This is still a good achievement, proving our good product and price positioning, thanks to successful new models like the new Audi Q2 and the new A5 series, and thanks to consistent discipline on cost, the operating result has even been improved slightly to 1.2 billion euros. Unlike the previous year, the operating result in the first quarter of 2017 was not charged by special items. At the end of these difficult 3 months, we are at 8.7% of return on revenue, so we're above our target corridor. This means robust performance under challenging conditions. Of course, we're aware that the months to come will also be challenging. Still, with our planned new models and new model launches, we see ourselves well prepared, so our ambitious forecast for the year still applies. We intend to grow further on deliveries. We have a clearly rejuvenated product portfolio that will help. To just give you a few examples, a completely new Q2 entry-level SUV, the new generation of the Q5, the gradual introduction of the new A5 models, A5 Coupe, A5 Sportback, and A5 Convertible, and we're launching the new A8. In other words, our pipeline is well filled, and so for the revenues for the current year, we also expect a slight increase. We have a strategic target corridor of 8 to 10% of return on sales, and on the return on equity, we intend 8 to 10%, and we will fund all our projects ourselves. In 2017, there were also outflows due to the diesel crisis. So we expect a net cash flow, which will clearly be below the previous year, but still positive. Without these one-off effects, in fact, we should be above the level of 2016. The capital expenditure will probably be within the strategic target corridor of 5 to 5.5%. As part of the new 2025 strategy, we also introduced a new metric, the R&D spending ratio. It is calculated as the ratio of R&D spending over revenue. This metric is an indicator of the innovative strength of our company, and it also helps us to develop efficiently. For this metric, we have set ourselves a strategic target corridor of 6 to 6.5%. In 2017, we will probably slightly exceed that corridor. This will be due to investment in future topics, the planned model launches, and the expansion of our product portfolio, especially in the upper and high-margin car segments. Ladies and gentlemen, I can assure you that things are changing in our organization, and we will systematically guide our company into a successful future. The current mood of optimism is helping us. It is our driving force. The ambitious long-term financial targets of our new strategy 2025 set the course. We aim to achieve an operating return on sales of 8 to 10% and a return on investment of 21%. Also, we plan to reach an R&D ratio of 6 to 6.5% and a CapEx ratio of 5 to 5.5%. And something which is especially important to me, all of that along with a positive net cash flow. Clear goals, clear responsibilities, and clear measurability are our premises. In this context, we have prioritized numerous projects and are systematically implementing them. We are making agility into an Audi core competence in all processes of the entire organization as a part of our corporate culture, because we have to be faster and more agile. Agility and flexibility are crucial success factors in a world that is changing faster and faster. We want to be successful in the long term and sustainably. In short, profitability is our focus. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no doubt that the four rings have great charisma. That will continue to be the case in the future. We work on that every day at Audi with great efforts and motivation because we continue to promise Vorsprung. Our strategy for the future is clear. The course is set. We now have to advance at full speed with maximum turning moment. Thank you.
The automotive industry is experiencing the biggest transformation in its history. A challenge we are facing full of confidence. Open, agile, and positive. Change is in our DNA. We have now set new goals for ourselves.
Besten Dank, Herr Stroth.
Thank you very much, Mr. Strothbeck. Ladies and gentlemen, you as shareholders and therefore as investors surely are interested in the future of our company. Now, where's this journey taking us? Now, in the second part of my speech, I will explain to you what we at the Audi Group have planned for the medium and long term. New models, new technologies, and strategic plans that will all affect the future of our company. We are rejuvenating our product range and will renew 5 core model series by mid-2018. Here are just 2 examples. On the 11th of July, we are going to hold our first Audi Summit in Barcelona. And at this event, we are going to present to the world everything that defines Vorsprung, Durchtechnik and our brand. We will have the world premiere of our high-end sedan, the Audi A8, with a completely new operating concept, which is generously dimensioned and intuitive. The new A8 will be produced here in Neckarsulm. This car opens a new chapter in our successful story of lightweight construction, one of our brand's core competencies. In the next generation A8, we're going to offer a key technology as soon as it is allowed by legislation in core markets, i.e. highly automated driving on motorways. At this point, I would like to emphasize the German government's commitment to piloted driving. With its latest resolution, the Bundesrat, the cabinet has prepared the way for modern road traffic laws. This will make Germany into a pioneer for automated driving. In the first stage of application, the car takes over the task of driving. In slow-moving traffic on the motorway at speeds up to 60 kilometers per hour, it will be possible to take one's hands off the steering wheel, and the driver can then do other things, such as, using digital services for information and entertainment, maybe. Well, now let's look at the second model series that we will renew. The new Audi A7 will continue to be the most progressive large 5-door top segment coupe. It will have its world premiere in the fourth quarter. And like the first generation, the design of the new Audi A7 makes a striking statement for our brand. But we are not only fundamentally renewing 5 core model series. In addition, we will supplement our product portfolio with some completely new models. And as you know, the Audi Q2 was our newcomer of the year 2016 and met with a tremendous response as our first crossover between sports utility vehicle and coupe. We are now supplementing our successful Q family with 2 new crossover concepts featuring very sporty styling. The first new model is to be launched in 2018. The Audi Q8 will combine the elegance of a coupe with the functionality of an SUV. We presented 2 show cars at the Detroit and Geneva Motor Shows. Both models are plug-in hybrids. They have a powerful TFSI 6-cylinder engine and a powerful and efficient electric motor. And you will recognize the Q8 from its low roofline and its extremely sporty stance. We will produce it as of 2016 in Bratislava, where its sister model, the Q7, is also produced. Also in 2018, we are going to launch the Q3 and then the Audi Q4. And with this car, we are going to enter the segment of compact utility vehicles, that is, CUVs. The very sporty Audi Q4, with a typical coupe silhouette, will be positioned between the Q3 and the Q5. In addition to the 2 new Q models, we will electrify our customers with the launch of numerous environmentally friendly e-tron models. Between 2020 and 2023, we anticipate strong demand for purely electric automobiles. By then, at the latest, we will have significantly more sales stimulus from electric cars in markets all over the world. Now, in 2018, we are going to launch the Audi e-tron. Yes, you heard me correctly. It's simply called e-tron. With this car, we'll make a break from our naming convention, because this car marks a turning point for us. Like the Audi Quattro in the 1980s, which already revolutionized the drive concept. The battery electric Audi e-tron is an SUV. It is the first electric car from Audi with a range of more than 500 kilometers, a unique driving experience, and a fantastic, excellent design. And I think we will make the electric car into a must-have in the coming decade. Now, in 2019, we're going to follow this up with the Audi e-tron Sportback, and we've shown you how we imagine this model to look like, and this was at the Shanghai Motor Show in April. The Audi e-tron Sportback concept is a design study and technology pioneer, an e-car and power pack in coupe form, and we are proud of this. Its design language carries over the classical Audi elements into the new architecture of e-mobility. And in the following year, that is 2020, we are going to offer a premium electric car in the compact segment too. This will be based on the Volkswagen Group's modular electrification platform MEB. And this is a great case in point. That is how we would like to and can use and harness maximum synergies within the group. Starting in 2021, we are going to electrify Audi models in each core series. Now, in order to make even faster progress with this future-oriented task, Audi and Porsche agreed on April the 5th, 2017 to cooperate on engineering development. And together with Porsche, we will develop the premium electrification architecture for our electric cars in the forthcoming 10 years. With this combined expertise and know-how of the two companies, we will optimally utilize and harness the synergies of our premium brands. Together, we will set the technical course for the future. We will tackle the topics of electrification, digitalization, and autonomous driving in collaboration with our colleagues from Porsche. And this cooperation makes great economic sense, too. It will make the development of our electric cars significantly faster and more efficient. And thanks to economies of scale, material unit costs will also fall significantly. Across the brands, our cooperation with Porsche will create potential of cost reductions in a triple-digit million amount every year. And one thing is certain. Our customers will always recognize Audi as an unmistakable Audi, so this will continue with our intensified cooperation. We take the target of zero emissions seriously. Our mobility of the future will be emission-free in the long term. That's why we venture the following prediction. By the middle of the next decade, every third Audi delivered to a customer will be either partially or fully electric. This means we will make the models we offer so attractive that at least 1 in 3 customers will make the change. Now, how are we preparing for this transformation internally? Focus is very much important. In the long run, we will reduce our current drive versions by up to 40%. We are taking complexity out of the system and thereby freeing up resources for the electric drive systems of the future. And at the same time, we are creating a convincing system offering. This means that, as well as a charging solution for at home, the possibility to charge batteries is required when on long journeys. Therefore, we are taking on an infrastructure task, something which is unusual for a car maker. That is, we'd like to provide starting assistance for electric mobility. In Europe, the Volkswagen Group with Porsche and Audi plans to establish a joint venture in cooperation with BMW, Daimler and Ford. Together, we want to set up high-performance charging points with up to 350 kilowatts for fast charging when on long journeys on the main highway routes in Europe. In the United States, the Volkswagen Group of America will start a similar project called Electrify America. So, from the e-tron models and the related system offering, I will now turn to production. Our Audi plants are the cornerstones of our brand in the transformation process towards sustainable mobility. Brussels is the production site of our first electric car. Such a car requires sustainable production, surely. And our credo, our creed, is clean cars from clean factories. We therefore plan to make our plant in the capital of Europe into the first CO2-neutral Audi plant. We will also set up our first battery production in this pioneering plant of our electrification. The Audi plant in Neckarsulm will become the competence center for the development of fuel cell technology for the Volkswagen Group. You see, hydrogen as the energy source is the next major milestone on our electrification roadmap. For customers who require cars with a very long range, the fuel cell will be a genuine alternative, lighter, quick to refuel, and highly economical in the future. The Ingolstadt plant is, on the one hand, the brand's main development center. As the biggest production facility in the Audi Group, it has expertise in electric mobility. And it has experience with integrating plug-in hybrids very efficiently into the existing production infrastructure. We are also basing the g-tron drive technology for the Audi A3, A4 and A5 models in Ingolstadt too. The facility in Győr, Hungary is starting with production of electric motors for our Audi e-tron. The logistics center close by is supplied, and this thanks to Hungary's biggest photovoltaic installation for industrial use with CO2 neutral energy. And following its successful start, Our youngest car plant in North America is now preparing for production of the plug-in hybrid version. The Audi Q5 e-tron will soon drive off the same assembly lines in Mexico as its petrol and diesel siblings. Now, in this transformation phase, we will therefore need the conventional combustion engines in our portfolio also into the next decade. We are further developing our successful TFSI and TDI engines because revolution and evolution in drive system development go hand in hand. The G-tron technology means, I just mentioned it, that stepping on the gas now takes on a completely new meaning for Audi customers. With our synthetic Audi e-gas, G-tron models reduce the emission of fossil carbon dioxide by 80%. Now, to help persuade as many drivers as possible to switch over to clean gas, we now have a new offer for buyers of the new Audi A3 Sportback G-tron. We are going to offer our customers the surcharge because we want to make sure that this is mobility for the future. And when running on Audi e-gas, the G-tron emits only the CO2 that we have used when producing the fuel. This material cycle alone would actually be CO2 neutral. But when we take the complete energy generation process into account, the result is 80% less fossil carbon dioxide. Audi e-gas is a pioneering fuel. With the Audi A3 Sportback G-tron, we have a model in our portfolio that appeals not only with its driving pleasure and environmental compatibility, it is also more reliable than any car ever before. In the endurance test carried out by the magazine Out to Build over 100 kilometers, our natural gas model was given the best possible mark of 1+. And the Audi A3 G-tron was the very first car to obtain this mark, which is impressive proof of the car's quality. With e-tron and G-tron, we are making our customers an offer to switch over. We know that any change takes time. For this reason, we will have at least one model in each series with an internal combustion engine, also as a mild hybrid until 2025. And this, thanks to our 48-volt electric system, it will recuperate braking energy better than ever before. And that will reduce fuel consumption. In the transitional phase, we have the plug-in hybrids I previously mentioned to serve as a bridge technology, providing emission-free driving for day-to-day situations and the range suitable for long journeys. Ladies and gentlemen, society's value system has changed over the last few years. This results in a sustainable and digital lifestyle. Our customers want to take their modern lives with them in their cars. That's why we will make Audi Connect into standard equipment in the foreseeable future. Each Audi will be part of the Internet of Things in the future. Its sensors will deliver valuable data for the new swarm or cloud intelligence. The next step will be to gather together our customers and fans online and to create added value for them. By 2025, we expect to have 10 million users on our digital platform. Together with new partners, we will offer entertainment, shopping, convenience, and lots more on this platform. In connection with digitalization, I would like to point out how our traditional hardware business model is also changing. Function on demand is a revolutionary concept in the car industry. Customers will pay for some of the functions only when they need them and books them. Some examples are the matrix function of LED headlights or new software functions in the car's Audi Connect system. This means, for the customers, more flexibility, but also individuality. You know, their Audi will always surprise them again and again. And the next owners will also be pleased about the updates and upgrades. And all this will be downloaded via our mobile telephony over the air. You know, we are developing our worldwide production network into a large cross-border smart factory. And I would just like to say, welcome to the fourth industrial revolution. You know, we are using the power of electronics and big data. And surely we analyze complex production interdependencies in real time. We are digitally connecting all of the separate industrial processes and thinking beyond today's assembly lines. One day, we will have a modular assembly line whereby people will set the pace again and the car bodies will only drive themselves to those stations where they are needed. You see, I'm talking about an intensive human-robot cooperation. At Audi, the firm focuses on the human being, and I'm talking about self-learning machines. Artificial intelligence marks the birth of a new, exciting way of working in our factories. Ladies and gentlemen, in addition to sustainability and digitalization, we are pursuing a third important megatrend, urbanization. For 10 years now, more people worldwide have lived in cities than in the country. Oh, on the countryside, sorry. By 2050, the ratio is expected to be 70-30. Cities are getting bigger and bigger. The essential backbone is mobility. Space is becoming scarce. Traffic jams are getting worse, and intelligent solutions are required. Now, in this decade, we will create innovative mobility services for people living in cities in more than 15 markets. That is, those living in these conurbation areas, in these big cities. Pilot projects of recent years under the leadership of Audi Business Innovation, such as Audi On Demand, Audi Shared Fleet, Audi at Home, or Audi Select, are all scalable projects for the next few years. And we are developing technologies for the city of the future. Piloted parking, piloted driving, detailed digital maps from our investment in HERE, which is producing the world's biggest real-time reality index, connected stoplights, parking spaces, parking garages, and the swarm intelligence or cloud intelligence of objects in the Internet of Things. We see potential for highly automated driving also in the city, where traffic is highly complex. This is the ultimate test for us and the entire industry. So in the next decade, we will also have robot taxis. They will close the gap in urban public transport. And we will first experience cars without a steering wheel and pedals, and this on predefined short journeys. Self-driving systems are the basis. In this context, we've just founded a separate company which is going to work for the entire Volkswagen Group. It is called Autonomous Intelligent Driving. The first self-driving cars will be on the roads in cities early in the next decade. And we've set up this company as an open platform, like with our investment in the digital map company HERE. Partners in the automotive and IT industries are welcome, and they will connect with us. Ladies and gentlemen, over the last few minutes, I've sketched out how Audi is on its way into the year 2025. Now, let me summarize. First, we are rejuvenating and broadening our product range. 5 core model series up until 2018 and 2 new Q models. Second, we are digitalizing our products and our production with potential for connectivity in every Audi. Added value on our digital platform and the smart factory as a vision of a very connected manufacturing plant. Third, we are creating sustainable offers for the mobility of the future. The Audi e-tron with convincing charging concepts and more electric cars being planned. A strong G-tron family with innovative fuels. And by 2025, mild hybrids in each core model series. And new rules for sustainable supplier connections or relations. And fourth, we are applying our expertise and our technologies as an answer to the mega trend of urbanization with attractive offers for mobility in the future, in the city of the future, and the technology of pilot driving. And this includes the founding of the company which I just mentioned. So as you can see, we know where we want to get to, and we are positioning ourselves in the best possible way for the future. The diesel crisis has not yet been overcome, and it requires a lot of our attention and capacities. But new products and technologies are on their way. The automotive industry is in its biggest transformation of recent decades. Disruption is accompanying this transformation. And maybe, or probably, the diesel crisis was the worst disruption of all times for us. And nonetheless, it's giving us new strength, i.e., to leave behind things we've grown to like, but which have become too expensive. And we are doing this so that something new can arise. So this means we will reinvent ourselves by thinking from the customer's perspective more so than in the past, by having the right products, by daring to make a far-reaching transformation, and by standing united as a strong team behind this brand. Thank you very much for your attention.